what I want to go through here is how you can calculate sales, but only sales to new customers. So there's heaps of scenarios where you could utilize this technique, but a perfect one is say you're a retail company, or you're selling stuff online, you've got a lot of customers. Well, you might want to analyze in terms of all your sales, well, how much of that is actually coming in for new customers? But not only that, you want to be able to dynamically select any time frame and then dissect, well, how much out of our total sales did we actually sell to new customers? And this would be really relevant to even say products. Say you want you sent out a new product and you wanted to work out, well, how many of your customers, your existing customers, actually bought the product versus brand new customers. Could be a regional type dissection or analysis. So there's heaps of different applications. Now, I'm going to walk through how we can actually create this, but first of all, let's view this as a visualization. So we've got sales per day up the top here, but then here we're looking at a dynamic view of how much of these sales were actually to new customers. So you can see here that it tails off, because obviously, there's a lot of new customers buying here, and then they might be buying some more, and only a few customers remain, or a few new customers only come in periodically. And so, but the cool thing is it's dynamic. And then we're looking at it on a daily basis here, and here we're looking at it on a monthly basis. So I'm going to show you the technique of how you can actually create this yourselves using DAX, really, using DAX on top of your data model. So I'm just going to move this to the side, and I'm going to start fresh. And first of all, we're just going to set up. I'm just going to delete one I made earlier. I'm just going to set up a date table, a table with the dates column, and then also total sales. And we can see, okay, well, here is total sales for every single day, right? So 25,000, 32,000. I'm also just going to bring a slicer in here, a year slicer, so we can jump between the years. Okay, so now we need to write a DAX formula that says, well, out of these sales here, how many of these sales were actually for new customers? So I'm going to create a new measure, and I'm going to call this new customer sales. Now, don't worry if all of this formula doesn't make sense right now. What I would suggest is just try it out and then try and understand it through time, what is actually going on there, because it's a little bit complex. There's quite a bit to it. And I'm also going to use variables, because I've grown to really use variables as much as possible, because I think it breaks out your code. It makes it easier to understand. So I'm going to create a variable called customers, and really this is actually going to be a table. I'm going to put a table of my customer IDs inside of this variable, and then I'm going to go down to a new row and type return, because that's what you need to write. That's the syntax of what you need to use when you use variables. So then I'm going to go return, and then I'm going to start typing out my wider logic. So I'm going to go calculate here, and I'm going to go total sales. Now we're still calculating total sales, right? Nothing changes there. All that's changing is the context in which we're going to calculate it. And we can create some logic in here which changes that context. It's quite complex logic, but if you can get it, if you can get your mind across this, or your head around how this actually works, then you're going to be in really good shape to understand what DAX is actually doing for any calculation. So I'm just going to jump down to another line here. I'm going to go filter, and here within this filter, I'm going to put my variable. I'm going to put customers, and then I'm going to say for each customer, I need to do some sort of evaluation, and through this logic, I'm going to evaluate if that customer has bought before. So I'm just setting it up. I'm just going to quickly write this out, and then I'm going to walk through exactly what it's doing. So I'm going to go all selected dates here, and then I'm going to go date is less than min date. Equals 0. And then I'm going to push enter. Now I'm going to drag this in, and we can see that it actually calculates something. It's going to take a little while, because I think there's a lot more internal calculation or in-memory calculation that has to occur there. But I'm just going to format this into dollars. Okay, cool. So now if we just rearrange this a little bit, you'll see that we've got total sales and we've got new customer sales. Now, if I change this to any time frame, you'll see that the new sales changes with it. Now, let's quickly just walk through this. Now, the first thing I worked out here was the customers. The customers variable, which is just a table of each different customer ID. Now, how this gets used inside this logic down here is we first of all have to recognize the initial context, right? So let's just start at a random row here, the 6th of the 1st, 2017. So for this particular row, what happens is this customer's variable goes and finds every single customer which bought during that day. And then for each of those individual customers, it then goes and iterates through the dates table and says, does that customer exist? So have they bought before, right? And if they haven't bought, or if they have bought, then this is going to equal to greater than 0, and it's going to basically cancel out. But if they haven't bought, then this logic is going to return true, and then that customer is going to remain in the context, and then we calculate up total sales. So for every single day as we move down through the dates, you see here the 21st of the 1st, this 5,000 is much less than what the total sales is. That's because each customer that has been bought on that bought something on that day is being evaluated for if they had bought on any previous day in the current context in 2017. And that's exactly what this logic does here. And that's how we return the sales of new customers. Now, you could even go even further on this. Obviously, think about how you could work out sales of customers that are not new, existing customers. Well, that would be a very easy branch from here, because basically all you'd have to do is go total sales minus new customer sales. So let's just quickly do that. So I'm going to go old customer sales, and I'm going to go total sales minus new customer sales. And then I'm going to drag that into there like so. And then you could then turn this into a visualization like so, and then this is going to give you, if we colored this a little bit better, this is going to give you the distribution through time of new and old customers, right? And it's dynamic if you think about it. It's dynamic. How cool is that? Okay, so I'm just going to round up the video here, but in terms of a technique or an some DAX formula to understand, this is a really good technique. If you can get your head around what is actually happening here, you're really getting up to a pretty advanced level in DAX. But really cool technique, very applicable to many situations, attrition analysis, etc. So just want to wish you good luck with it.